All right, I got this recording rolling, so we're good to kick off whenever. I got the one question I pulled offline that came in. Any more come in, type them in the chat box, guys. Let me kick off a really quick intro just to REYL and what we're doing here. And then Kai is going to give a special introduction to our speakers and our presenters tonight. My name is John Bush. Myself, Mr. Kai Nix, Justin Harrison, John Chase, we kicked off this movement for REYL, this brotherhood, this community that we are growing by the week, that we have put together to really inspire and help uplift men. We open this call tonight up to teenagers as well, so we might have a few younger gentlemen, men in development, jumping on too. And I figure what better way to kind of open that up and have some of these messages inspire future generations as well. So this event, this is our special event. We do one of these a month on the third Thursday every single month. You guys are not going to be disappointed with what we have going on this evening. We do our best to bring you guys, tap into our wealth of network and bring you just some incredible men that have overcome adversity, done some amazing things, and have powerful messages to share. And that is exactly what we have going on this evening. So I'm going to turn it over to the legendary Kai Nix, who's going to give a formal introduction to both of these guys. So thank you for being here. Thanks for being on. Kai, all you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, brother. First, before we even get started with this remarkable call that's about to happen, let's all wish my man, John Bush, a happy birthday.
That's right.
Wish that man a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, John.
Thanks,
Give that man some flowers. Give him his flowers. So, this is John's baby. REYL Men, this is his baby. He created it, and it's growing. It's massive. It's getting there. The momentum is flowing. So it's good that you guys are on. It's good that you guys are a part of this already in the beginning stages. So this call, I'm super stoked about. I've been waiting for this call for like a long time, because when it comes to fitness, I'm all about fitness and staying healthy. And a lot of men should be on this call right now, because a lot of brothers need this in their life, whether they feel it fit or not. A lot of brothers need to hear this call. So thank God, and I want to say thank you for the guys who showed up to be on this call, to be present on this call. A lot of men will tap in and listen to the recording, but it's good that you guys are on now. So we have two, not one, but two remarkable personal trainers and fitness businessmen on this call right now. Two special brothers that I actually call brothers. First, I want to talk about John Chase. Brother John, I've known you for a little while now. You're remarkable. Not only a remarkable man, father, husband, all that amazing stuff, but you're an amazing personal trainer, running your own fitness business, Chase Movement. And you always have such inspiring words that come out of your mouth, brother. And it's such a pleasure to have you on this call. And for you to be on this call and to tie you in with this other man who you guys are going to get to know, who's like family to me. One of the top trainers in New York. This dude is a beast when it comes to fitness. Like, he knows fitness inside and out. And you're gonna love what this brother has to say. Jeff Eveillard, AKA Jeff London. Either way, he's Jeff. And this guy is so powerful. Another husband, a father, remarkable man, doing big things in the fitness world. So it's just a pleasure to have these two gentlemen on this call tonight, so he can speak to you men about being fit for life and the importance of health, the importance of eating right, and the importance of exercising, just taking care of the body so we can live, so we can battle through all the things that's going in the world. Because once the body is healthy, we can do anything once the body is healthy. So they're going to talk to you about that. Now, how we're going to do this, first, I want to have each of you gentlemen just give your own testimony and story. Tell the men where you come from, how you got started, just a general synopsis of Jeff and John. After that, I have a series of questions. And how we're going to do those questions is, I'm going to ask either Jeff a question or ask John a question. And if the other guests would like to follow up with their own, annotation on that question, please feel to jump in and give your own. Because the thing about personal training, it's like coaching in any sport. You have a basis that both John and Jeff both do, but then once they have the basis down, they have their own formula of success in training. John has his, Jeff has his. They each have their own way, just like coaches have their own way of coaching. So there's no wrong way to what they're going to share with you. There just could be similar styles or very different styles and approaches to how they train. But either way, both approaches are correct and right. So get your pen ready, get your pad ready. You guys are going to hear some incredible stuff. Let me kick it off by once again thanking everyone who took the time to jump on this call. We really appreciate your presence and being seen. If you're able to turn your camera on so we can see your face, by all means do so. We'd love to see your face so these guys can see who they're speaking to. But first, I want to start off with Mr. John Chase. Tell the men about your journey. Tell them how you got started in the game and where you are right now, and then we'll jump into questions.
All right. So my story started out, I mean, I've always been interested in fitness. I mean, activity, sports type stuff. My family wasn't too keen on me playing sports. So I was just like the kid that would go outside and throw a football to myself. And, you know, I was Jerry Rice and Joe Montana, right? I'd throw a football and I'd run, catch the ball to myself, things like that, right? But in terms of fitness, my true beginning would have to start when I was diagnosed with a clinical depression, borderline personality disorder, ADD, ADHD. Okay. I have one of my daughters with me. Yeah, go ahead. I have 6 daughters, by the way, and only one of them are here with me right now, which is kind of cool, but so it's not going to be as loud as normal. But I was diagnosed with a whole bunch of different things. My brain, my life was a roller coaster, okay, of emotions. I had started my own fight club. I was fighting a lot. We had anything to get aggression out, anything like that, okay? And if you want a deeper dive into that part, I do have some of my other story recorded there. But how the fitness tied into it is I needed a way to manage the brain without the use of taking a whole bunch of different types of drugs, because I was diagnosed with a bunch of things and they prescribed me a bunch of different drugs. I didn't want to take those drugs. I'm not saying that some of those aren't needed for certain people. I understand that. But the way that I grew up, I'd already been on a bunch of different drugs and I wanted nothing to do with anything that altered my brain other than its own faculties, okay? So what I did was I started to study how fitness and exercise, vigorous exercise, how it affected the brain and what it could do on its own to alleviate the symptoms that I was having in terms of depression, right? In terms of the ADD and all that kind of stuff. And I found a lot of research on it, in fact. And the amazing thing that's about it all, I was trying to get into college at the time. I was like 19, 20 years old, trying to get into college. I'd been kicked out of high school. And my counselor that I was working with, my therapist, she said that there is a vocational rehabilitation center that would help me get into college, okay? So they put me through a series of these tests. They're like, well, if you don't take the drugs, then we can't really like fund your college. Like you kind of have to follow our standard here. And again, like I said, I didn't really want to go that route. So I said, well, what if I present you with a bunch of different data that I've found and I use myself as a test subject and you give me 1 semester to prove to you that I can do well and I can function properly and at even a better level and do well in school, would you then consider, a funding school? So first semester goes by and they had me track every single thing that I did. Okay. All the exercise that I did, daily movement. I tracked down to the minute on those things. And then I tracked all of my food intake, what I was eating, when I was eating, okay, how much I was sleeping. So I tracked all of these things. And I did well, did really well my first semester, even though some of it was makeup from high school, because I've been kicked out. So some of it was a makeup semester, right, to get to that college level. And I presented all of this information to them. They retested me on a whole bunch of different things. And they're like, this is amazing. How are you functioning? You're not even the same guy that we saw 6 months ago. Like, how is this even possible? I did so well that they paid for 4 years of college. And like that was awesome. Now I still took out, I raised a family, all that kind of stuff. So I still took out some loans and stuff, but they paid for tuition. Okay. That's awesome. And I attribute all that to fitness, right? That what it did for me, I knew that it could do that for anyone. So I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I went to college right into exercise science and nutrition, got a bachelor's degree in that. That was because I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I knew that that was the path that would give me fulfillment and the most purpose. And therefore, that's what I do now. I mean, we're talking, that was 20 years ago. And here I am running my own gym. And I have all of these people that I know can be helped the way that I was helped. So that's my mission and purpose now. And that's a bit of my fitness story. Yeah. Any questions?
That's amazing and powerful. I know the men would like to know a little bit more about Chase Movement, your business.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a movement efficiency coach. Okay. I made up that term just because I was trying to steer away from the whole, like, there's so many just new things coming into the fitness industry, and people want to like pick one thing. Like they want to do bodybuilding, or they want like triathletes, or they want CrossFit, or they want, well, let's just call this functional training. Let's do, you know what I mean? I don't like to categorize things, right? So I'm like, what is the basis of everything? Okay. It's all about movement. It's all about moving the body, whether it's lifting a weight, whether it's using your actual own body weight, whether it's resistance bands, whether you're out in nature, whatever it is, moving the body is the root. So movement was kind of like just on my mind. So I went and did a bunch of different certifications, a whole bunch of different things, and combined all my knowledge and experience over the years of training since 2006 of training. And just about 2015, late 2015, I decided to order a whole bunch of equipment, throw it in my garage, and open my own official business. Okay. I had been a trainer since, like I said, 2006, and always working in and out of other gyms and things like that. And I'm like, I kind of wanted to have a little more control of my own, like be able to practice my own philosophies, right? And not be dictated by the gym rules of corporate gyms and things like that. So I did that, opened that up, started gathering up some of my friends and things like that. It eventually turned into what it is today. I have it's about 2,400 square feet gym called Chase Movement, based off of my name, John Chase. And we got, I mean, some of the guys on this call come to my gym, and yeah, we do group training mostly. I do have a couple personal training clients, but mostly it's group training. Most of it is what you would call functional training, right? But again, I just call it movement efficiency. And we focus mostly on the journey instead of the outcome, right? Because it seems like everybody wants this. They want a certain type of body, or they want a certain type of look. But when you really dig down into the emotional root of why everybody actually is the way that they are, when you get down to those roots into the behavior, it's really they want to feel better about themselves. They actually want to feel confident, good. They want to feel like they can go out and do the things they want to do that brings them joy and happiness, right? And that's really what I focus on, not just whether it's a dumbbell lifted in a certain way, and it's all about how the person feels about themselves. Okay, so we work a lot on this. We work on the brain, we work on the mind, right? And once you do that, once somebody understands that the reason why they want to do something, that's where you can put them into any program, any exercise program, and they'll see results. So it all starts up in here. And that's actually my main message for today. I'm out. See ya.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. That is super awesome. And we got so much more to get into with questions, John.
Yeah.
I'm gonna introduce this next brother. Little funny story. When I used to live, I live in upstate New York now. When I used to live in Westchester, which is about an hour south of where I live now, I moved into this new building, luxury building. And, I go into the gym, the building gym, and I'm thinking I'm the biggest guy in the gym, showing off. I'm going to the home. And then I see this big dude in here. I was like, who is this big dude training in my gym right now? He is totally showing me out. This dude is huge. So I was like, I got to make a connection with this guy. So I introduced myself and we clicked like that. We automatically became brothers. We're more like family. So we've been close ever since. It is such a pleasure to have this guy on the call right now. Got to introduce you to this gentleman right now. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself, his journey, how he got started, where he's at now. Jeff Eveillard, also known as Jeff London. Please talk to the men about yourself.
Yes, thank you for having me, Kai. Happy to be here. And then for me, God, fitness is, I always say fitness saved my life. So, growing up, I've always been an athletic kid. I was always into sports, but I wasn't focused in the classroom. So I thought I was talented, but I was never focused on the book. So I could never really play on the school team. So when I finally made it to college, my grades were so poor, I didn't get into any colleges. I had to go to a community college. So I went to a community college, and my sport at the time was basketball. So I walked on to the basketball team, and I played my first year on and off. And then in the off season, I must have been 19. I started lifting weights, and as much as I like to say I started working out so I could enhance my performance on the court, that really wasn't the case. I remember I had a girlfriend my freshman year in college, and we went to a party, and then the bouncer, he was kind of like he was a jerk, and he was just big though. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I wouldn't even know what to do with this guy. Like, you know what I mean? I'm with my girlfriend, and so I said, I'm gonna start working out. And I was just super insecure. I was super insecure as a kid, and I just started working out. And if you know anything about fitness, your first year of lifting weights, your body was responding to anything. So I didn't know what I was doing, but whatever I was doing, my body responded to it. So I built some muscle in that summer. And then my sophomore year, I ended up getting a full athletic scholarship, and I got the rest of my tuition paid for. And I always say, I don't say that to brag, but I say it because I believe the exercise, and like I packed on some muscle, I think that helped me get the scholarship. So since then, I just kept lifting weights, and I felt better about myself, And I always have this phrase, I say, when you look good, you feel good. So I just kept lifting, hitting the weights. And then over time, I plateaued like a lot of guys do. I just plateaued, and I was just working out. I was working out like 6 days a week. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I should be further along at this point. It doesn't make sense. I'm in here 6 days a week. It's just not making sense. So that's when I started diving deeper into exercise science and learning more about the human body. And as a result, my life kind of changed too, because if you really want to get fit, you have to change a lot of your habits. So, you have to go to sleep on time. That way you don't feel lethargic the next day, and you can have a good lift. You can't really drink as much because that affects performance. And then you find how alcohol can affect your muscle protein synthesis and muscle mass. So my life started to change. And then I started reading more books. I started learning more about the human body. Then I started reading more self-development books, and it just kept going and going. And then my body started to change. As I got more information, my body started to change. And at this time, YouTube wasn't even out. So, I had to go to the library and find this like old Russian books and, different texts. And as my body started to change, people would come up to me in the gym and ask me just different questions. And I got my first client, older gentleman, asked me, he's like, look, man, if you train me, I'll give you $50 every time we meet. And he said, let's start off with 2 days a week. And I ended up training that guy for like 6 years. And then it kind of built from there. And then, so I went to school for business and accounting, and I hated my job. I really hated my job. And, but it was a job nonetheless. And then this fitness just kept happening for me. I kept building more and more clients. And then one day I was just trying to develop an exit strategy to get out of the job. But I was just so nervous, it's like I was leaving my day-to-day, my security. And then one day I just, I felt like I had everything in place, and I left the job. And that might've been 6 years ago. And then I've just been doing fitness ever since then. And then I got deeper and became a strength and conditioning coach. And my plan was never to work for an institution. These opportunities just kind of came in my lap. And I got an opportunity to work at Nyack College with their athletes. That's a Division II that's now in Jersey City. And then I was at Rutgers University for a short stint. And then recently I've been hired at St. Joseph's University. It's a Division I college here in Philadelphia, to just handle their whole sports performance department and just get their athletes bigger, stronger, faster. And, that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I've been working out ever since. I've never taken more than 2 days off of the gym. It's been over like 12 years. I've never taken more than 2 days off of the gym. And it's just because when I was fresh out of college, I used to go see some of my college teammates, and, we'd party and I'd hang out with them for a week or two. And when I'd come back to New York and start lifting again, working out, it was so hard to get back into the flow. And I remember the last time I went, we were in Virginia. I went to go see one of my friends, and I came back to New York, and I almost couldn't do it anymore. When I came back, I couldn't get the flow. And I said to myself, I'm like, all right, we're not doing that anymore. So ever since then, I've never taken more than 2 days off. And that works for me and my brain and my personality, because I think I need to keep my body moving. So that's my story in a nutshell right there, fellas.
Awesome. Thank you for that, brother. Great, amazing story. One very super powerful. And like I said, we're blessed to have both of you guys. If you've seen any of these guys' videos of them working out, you'll know exactly how much of a beast both of these guys are. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna jump into some questions. I have about 15 fitness related questions that I'm gonna ask you guys. And like I said before, I'm gonna ask one of you the question, but if the other guests would like to jump in with their perspective, because like I said, it's the same blueprint, but different ways of approaching it and different perspectives of training and everything. Feel free to jump in and also answer that question also. You don't have to, but feel free if you want to. After we go through these sequence of questions, whoever's on the call right now, on this Zoom right now, and they have their own questions that wasn't able to get to, or that I didn't ask, we're gonna allow the call to open up, and you can ask any one of these guys the questions yourselves, okay? So let's start it off. First question is going to go to, let's start off with John. What are your thoughts on kids getting active at a very young age with eating right, exercise, and how they should start to view a healthy lifestyle? And what age should kids start lifting at, in your opinion?
All right. Yeah. So like I mentioned before, I have 6 kids. 6 daughters, and they're all working out. So when I was in college, there was a lot of a lot of myths were busted, because if you just go out and, talk to people, they think that kids lifting weights at a young age has a negative impact on their growth plates and things like that, and they'll stunt their growth. And that's simply not true. Okay. Those are like 90-year-old myths. That's not even true. In fact, when you lift weights, even at a younger age, it activates growth plates. The reason why bodybuilders, like big, huge bodybuilders, do better, they do better when they're a little bit shorter opposed to taller. It's just like saying gymnastics. Gymnastics doesn't make somebody stunt their growth either, because a 6'5" gymnast is not going to do well. Okay. If I start playing basketball, just to drive this point home, if I start playing basketball and I'm 5'5", I don't just all of a sudden get taller because I play basketball. I just might have a more of an advantage if I was taller. So lifting weights does not stunt the growth. Okay. That's an old myth. But the age really has to come down to the kid's body awareness. All right. And their own level of autonomy. If they understand how to move their body, okay, then you can put a weight in their hand and lift. I do 2 youth classes, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And I have kids as young as 7, 8 years old lifting weights. I mean, doing dumbbell snatch, things like that. I coach them very, very closely on their movement patterns. And once their movement patterns get more efficient, just picking up a little tiny little weight, you can add and progress them to heavier weights, right? It all has to do with their body autonomy. But the reason why I think it's actually good for youngsters to lift weights is because it helps them with more motor control. Okay. Their body is going to be able to function better. You ever seen like a kid that's never played sports before, and he all of a sudden grew 6 inches one year? His mom says, hey, you should go play basketball. How clumsy they look and feel. If that child had been lifting weights and working out at a younger age, right, by the time they hit that growth spurt, they would have the body awareness and the motor control to move without looking clumsy and feeling clumsy. Ooh, which actually decreases, which actually would decrease the risk of injury, right? So it's important for them to lift weights. Now, where it becomes a problem is the coaching and the parents. If it has anything to do with force, meaning like if the coach is too harsh or the parents are forcing their children to go work out and things like that's where it becomes a problem psychologically. And when they're an adult, they won't want to do it. Kids that were forced to play sports, kids that were forced to run as a penalty or a punishment, they hate exercise when they're older. That's not a good way to go. So it comes down to that as well. I covered some of it. Jeff, what do you think?
Well, before you get into, if you want to
for it.
answer that, Jeff, also for you, John. So on that question, young teenagers, 11, 12, 13, 14, should they have the same type of healthy eating pattern, like eating healthy lean meats, eating, organic stuff, or should you allow them as teenagers, since their metabolisms are so, not everybody, not all kids, but some of them, they digest food quickly. Would you let them still have the fast foods that they want to enjoy, or should they be eating a lean diet?
Okay, I'm a perfect person to ask this because my kids have all grown up as organic kids. Okay, and for the longest time, so my oldest girls kind of went through this. For the longest time, I didn't let them eat anything unhealthy, right? Under my watch. And it's because I thought that if they ate unhealthy, it would damage their brain. And then when they would have all these issues when they're in their 20s, like I did, because I ate a bunch of junk when I was a kid. It was kind of stemming from more of a problem that I was having, right? Yes, children's metabolisms are really fast, okay? But metabolism isn't necessarily the issue. The issue boils down to whether or not the child has the disciplines to adopt healthy lifestyle habits. And again, does it come down to force as a parent, or is it optional? So now the way that I teach the kids at the gym, like I said, a bunch of youth, and we have tons of youth, kids at the gym and my own children, it's all about moderating things, teaching them disciplines, saying, hey, these are the things that are healthy in terms of performance. You want to perform better as an athlete or just feel better, then eat the lean meats, the veggies, things like that. But with that said, don't stress yourself out when you go to a party and you want to eat some cake and you want to have the chips and the Doritos and drink a soda or whatever. That type of thing, you need to give them some freedom to choose, because the only way that they learn, right, is to have them experience it themselves. So if a kid any of you guys have kids probably had this happen. Kid eats too much cake one night. The next day they're like, man, I don't feel good. I got a tummy ache. I got, that's going to affect them, right? And if you help them understand that food is fuel for the body, as well as helping us recover better, right? Then they'll start making those choices themselves and just do away with the forcing the kids to eat a certain way. Just give them those options. And that's the same with adults, you guys, all of us here too,
Yep.
Right? We could all be super disciplined and strict, and I have been, but I've had to let go of that, like, oh, I can only drink pure, filtered, ozonated water. That, I've been at that stage where, like, if it was genetically modified or not organic, then I wouldn't even touch it, and I would go hungry because of it.
Right.
But I realized that I was more unhealthy because I was stressing about food so much. And kids, they don't have the awareness as much as adults do. It affects them even worse than us. And you'll end up creating food disorders and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
true.
anyway.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Jeff, you want to chime in or with your own philosophy, or you want me to move on to your question?
No, I think John hit it on the head. So
Awesome. Let's move on to you, Brother Jeff.
okay.
If someone is struggling with their weight, no matter what the age, what steps should they take to become healthier?
I would look at the diet. I think when it comes to just body composition and fat loss, you got to look at your diet. And I would say, I'd go as far as saying it's probably like a 75 to 25 ratio. And then I would also look at your training strategy. What's your philosophy? What have you been doing? And go from there. So I'd look at diet first. I'd make modifications to that. And then I would go look at your training program. But when it comes to just changing your body composition, that's going to be, 80-20% diet. So that, there's a saying that you can't out-train a bad diet. So you could do all the exercise in the world, but if your diet is off, you're not going to see much progress as far as your physical look. You could get stronger, you could probably build some hypertrophy, but as far as being defined and reducing your body fat, you won't be able to do that.
Got it. Good stuff. John, would you like to chime in with your philosophy or move on to your question?
I do. I want to add on to that. Jeff, that was awesome. You nailed it. But I want to add on or give an example of that exact thing. Mm-hmm. I've had a client that I've worked with for 4 years. Okay. He's probably going to watch the recording of this. But he's gotten way stronger, more mobile, faster, things like that. He's in his 40s. The dude just won my 12-week fat loss challenge. Okay. 4 years of training and had never been under 14% body fat. And in 12 weeks, he dropped down to 7.5%. So we're seeing some good abs there. He's never seen those results at this point. And it's because not until about 12 weeks ago did he actually focus on his diet. He finally made the changes that were necessary and realized that that was the biggest difference, right? The 80%, you know, like Jeff said, you can get stronger, you can get bigger, you can do all that kind of stuff. But body composition, when you want to get lean, fat loss, it's all about what you put in your mouth, and you're 100% accountable to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. I haven't seen 7% in a long time, but I'm doing my best to get back there at my age. I haven't seen 7% in a while.
It's
So
not easy.
I can see it. I see about three. I see that fourth ad popping through, but one day maybe I'll get back to the six pack. All right. So actually, this question is for both of you guys.
Okay.
All right.
We can actually have this call for like 3 hours. So speed up your answers a little bit quicker so we can get through all the questions. So this is for both of you guys. So John, walk us through a normal workout day from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, whether that includes training yourself, training clients, and eating. What does that look like during the course of the day for you? A normal day.
Jeff, you take this first. Go for it.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm up early. I'm up super early. So 4:35, and I like to get my workouts done first. So sometimes I might meet with a client maybe at 6, and then I'll hit my workout after. If I don't have a client, I will just hit the gym around 6, and then the workout, if you know, I'll do a full. I train my entire body, but I usually do splits. So I'll pick 2 muscle groups, and I kind of work in a circuit style fashion. Sometimes it changes. So, you know, I'll do chest, core, triceps. And then, you know, the next day I'll do back and biceps. And then, you know, one day I'll do legs, and then I'll do aerobic work one day. And then there's times where I do full body workouts. So right now I'm currently just doing a split where I'm just hitting 2 muscle groups, and it's like a superset style fashion. So it's 2 exercises back to back. Then there's a minimal rest to probably a minute to a minute and a half in between each set. And I'll usually pick about 6 exercises to fluctuate around, sometimes 8. And then my workouts are short, you know, 45 minutes, never over an hour. That includes the warm up. And then as far as diet is concerned, you know, I eat clean, you know, 90, you know, I live by the 90-10 rule. You know, I'm disciplined 90% of the time, and then 10% of the time I'll cheat. I have 1 cheat day per week, so to speak, quote unquote, where I go out with the family, we'll eat. But yeah, that's my workout and my diet, you know, protein, veggies, clean carbohydrates. One day I'll cheat a little bit.
Oh, what time do you usually hit the bed?
Oh, I go to bed no later than 10. No later than 10, I'm in bed. Do I actually go to sleep at 10? Not always, but I try to be in the bed by 10.
Awesome. That's a great day. What about you, John? What's
Yeah,
your day look like?
I'm up early as well, 4:30. On client training days, it's 4:30, because I hit my first class. I got my first class at 6 a.m. and I got to prep for them and everything like that. I usually on those days don't work out until Todd shows up. Todd's on the call. That's usually when I do my first workout. Sometimes I do 2 in a day, but I'll do that. And I usually do what I have already programmed everybody else to do. So we have like a strength exercise, some type of strength training, right? And we split it up as well. So everybody hits, including myself, will hit all the different muscle groups within the week, right? And sometimes twice on some of those exercises. But if you go in and you feel it, like most of my workouts still feel like it's a full body thing, because I'm always adding different things in there, right? If we're doing some strength exercise and then we do like some type of circuit, you're still going to get like the burpees in there. You're still going to get some wall ball thrusters or some type of rotational thing, which feels like full body anyways, even though it won't hit a primary muscle group. So every day is going to be a little bit different in terms of my workouts, but I make sure that I hit everything right in the course of the week. And I switch it up all the time. So in terms of food, I usually don't eat until after that workout. So that's usually like 11 o'clock. I'll usually have I'll be kind of like intermittent fasting until about that time. So then I work out in a fasted state. I don't always adhere to that, just depends on the day. but a lot of times I will because I love the way that feels. And I get that whole rise of testosterone and growth hormone post-workout before I eat a meal. But same thing, protein, veggies. I try to stick to the 90-10 rule as well. And my meals will typically be 2 palm sizes of protein, 2 fists of veggies, 1 type of carbohydrate, starch, whether it's a fruit, potato, rice, some type of whole food carbohydrate, fist size, and then at least that much fat. And when I base it off of that, and I do that three times a day, my body will recover well. And I typically don't feel like having snacks really late at night because I've gotten those nutrients. If I don't get those nutrients, if something stumbles me throughout the day, I'm way hungrier at night, and I'll go for something, any type of, like, my brain wants to go to carbs like most people. So a little trick for other people is make sure you get your quality nutrients earlier throughout the day, so then at night you don't feel like you're just ravenous. Okay. Right. Anyways, that's the little trick that I do for myself. But that's kind of like a typical day. I get to bed about with 6 kids, I do not have a really strict schedule. We'll just put it that way. I do not. I have to admit, because I preach this all the time, you have to get your 7 to 9 hours of sleep. But I have to admit, if I can get 7 hours one night a week, I'm doing good. Awesome. Other than that, it's less. That's just the truth.
Awesome, brother. Awesome, brother. Good stuff. Good stuff. Jeff, we're swinging this one to you.
Okay.
If someone doesn't want to go to the gym or doesn't have time to get to the gym facility, what can they do at home, and what pieces of equipment should they at least have in their toolbox to stay in shape at home?
Yeah, good question. I think calisthenics are great. I think most people should start with just body weight exercises, master your body weight. We have a saying like you don't load dysfunction. You don't put load on top of dysfunction. So if you can't move or you don't have the proper squat pattern, push-up pattern, it doesn't make sense to actually put weight on your back or bar in your hand. So calisthenics, I would say I'd start there. I would start at a pull-up bar. I think that's essential. I would invest in a kettlebell, and I would invest in some type of band. So mini bands, resistance bands, and I'd start there. And that's what took me through the whole quarantine, is just kettlebell, calisthenics, pull-up bar, mini bands. So I'd start there.
Awesome, awesome. John, would you like to throw in yours or go to your question?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Literally, like even the pull-up bar, the bands, like that. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, John. So should men, or it could be men or women, but should men be working out every day, or should it be related to each person's individual goals on how much?
You're gonna have to ask me that again. This little one just told me to move my foot, and I didn't hear the last part. So say that again. Sorry.
So should men be working out every day?
Oh, I see.
Or should they work out just based on their individual goals that they're trying to obtain?
Yeah. So in terms of whether or not you need daily exercise, I think it definitely is and has to do with your goals. At one point, I was working out 6-7 times or 7 days a week, sometimes 2 a days on a lot of those, because I had very specific goals. But that's also when I was super dialed in on my sleeping patterns. All I did was eat, sleep, and work out, right? So if your goal is to, especially if your goal is to put on muscle, you're probably going to have to focus a little bit more in the gym. You're probably going to have to go a little bit more often. You're going to have to get the sleep, all that kind of stuff. So whether or not it's men or women, I do think you need daily movement, right? You still need to get your mobility work in there. You still need to stretch. You still need to walk, maybe go for a hike, a bike ride, a light jog. Something needs to happen every day, because the body needs that movement, and it will help you recover from the heavier lifting days anyways. So yeah, depending on your goals, but there should be daily movement.
Awesome, awesome. Jeff, would you like to chime in with your philosophy or move on to your question?
No, we can move on. I think John hit it on the head again.
Cool, awesome. So Jeff, everybody's trying to achieve different results with working out. How should someone approach losing weight versus getting lean or shredded versus putting on weight or trying to bulk up with muscles?
Yeah, I mean, let's start with just losing weight. I think, again, I think the first thing is just looking at your diet. And usually if a client comes to me, 90% of the time, if I have a client, fat loss is one of the goals. So I have them log their meals for a week. And, you know, everyone, usually in my experience, everyone says, oh, I eat clean. I don't know what's going on and this and that. So I like to have a log of a week just to find out what everyone's eating and then go from there. And then for most people, I find that, like, I find there's two types of people when it comes to fat loss. There are people who are like light switches, where when they set their mind to it, they can just hit that switch and you tell them what to do. They'll do everything that you tell them to do. And that might be 2 or 5 out of 100 people. And then the rest of the folks, they need to slowly be integrated into the fat loss progress. So I always say start small, and we just start the process of elimination. And so I'll look at your diet and then we'll start removing some of those carbs. I recommend intermittent fasting a lot to people. It doesn't work for everyone. But so when it comes to fat loss, I would say let's look at your diet first. And then it was bulking, like if you want to build muscle.
You might have some clients who are very thin. You know, you might have that 18-year-old who's only $140. And he's 6 feet tall and he's trying to put on muscle and weight. How would he approach that? Or how should he approach that?
So I would look at the diet again, and then I would first, and then we look at getting that individual more calories. And then we would put them on a workout where we're doing what's called like compound movements. Those are like your squats, your deadlifts, your bench pressing, your pull-ups, your push-ups. And then I would just give him reps and sets that will build hypertrophy, will build muscle. So, you know, we stay like in a higher rep range, anywhere between 6 and 12 reps, 3 to 5 sets. And then we would track your progress. And every week we would try to increase one of those variables. So maybe we would increase the weight. We'll do 3 sets of 10. And then for 4 weeks, every week, we're going to increase that weight from 2.5 to 10 pounds. And then, or maybe we'll increase the repetitions. So we start off at 8 repetitions week 1, then we'll go to 10 week 2, 12 week 3, and so on and so forth. So we would just play with, you know, I stick to the science and based on your goals, and then I'll devise a workout plan that makes sense for you to target those goals.
Awesome, brother. John, you want to input your philosophy on that question, or you want to move on to your question?
That's great. He's got it. That's great.
Awesome. So, Brother John, the question that a lot of people ask is, how long should one work out in the gym? 30 minutes, 1 hour? I've seen people in the gym for 2 hours.
Right.
How long? What's the appropriate amount of time that people need to work out or should work out to see results?
Okay, so there's a minimum. I mean, we could stick to the science. There's a minimum. You should be doing at least 30 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week of strength training mixed with some cardio, something like that, right? As like a minimum, if you really want to see results. And then compound that over months and months and months, depending on how long it's been since you've done that, right? But I was thinking about this, that intensity really has to do with how long you're going to be in the gym, how long your workout sessions is going to be. The higher the intensity, probably the shorter the workout session, right? The lower the intensity, longer the session. So it could go anywhere from, I mean, as short as 15 or 20 minutes if it's just really intense, or up to an hour, right? I don't have any of my clients work out more than an hour. There have been times where I used to do that, but again, it was just very specific goals that I had, right? But most clients will start seeing awesome results coming in 3 days a week, sometimes 4, and doing just the hour. And that's including warm up. right? 15 minutes of warm up, 45 minutes of actual like training. And I mean, Todd can attest. I mean, sometimes in those training sessions, he's burning 800 calories, right? In that hour. If we were to make it more intense, which I don't know if we could make some of the workouts more intense, but if we did, he could probably burn 800 calories in 30 minutes, right? Instead of 45 or whatever. So intensity has a lot to do with it.
Got it. Awesome, brother. Jeff, your own philosophy, or move on to your
No, I
question?
think he hit it on the head. I would just say that I would say the majority of people in America do not need to work over an hour, and they don't need an hour in the gym. Other than that, John hit it on the head.
Awesome. So Jeff, how important is cardio, and is too much cardio a bad thing when it comes to gaining muscle?
Yes, definitely. I think too much of anything, as cliche as it may sound, is not good for you. So especially when it comes to muscle mass. So if your goal is to build muscle, I think you should, depending on the level and the amount of muscle you want to build, you should push the brakes on the cardio. I think if you enjoy cardio and you can implement it, 1-2 times a week, but it all depends on how fast you want to get to your goal. So if you really want to build muscle and that's your primary focus, I would lay low on the cardio for about, 4 weeks. And then maybe once a week, you could get on something just to train your cardiovascular system. You could hit a run. In terms of, is too much cardio bad for you? It depends. I do feel like running is very stressful on the body. And, I feel like sprinting is probably the most stressful thing on the human body from the central nervous system standpoint, meaning like the signals you send from your spinal cord to your body, you could burn that out. There's something called central nervous system fatigue, which we have to watch with the athletes. So sprinting is like the most demanding thing on the body. It's a lot of pounding. It's a lot on your spine. It's a lot on your knees. So I would say too much running could definitely hurt you.
Gotcha. So just real quickly before I ask John, aside from running, is there any other type of cardio that you would suggest?
Yeah, definitely. I like we call it the Airdyne or the assault bike. It's the bike that has the fan on it. You move your arms like this. I like that. I like the stepper. I like walking. I like walking outdoors. I like walking on the treadmill on the incline. I like the Versa climber. It's this machine that goes up and down. I like battle ropes. I like jump ropes. And sometimes I'll get my cardio from weight training. So I'll set up some med balls. I'll do circuit style training and get my aerobic work that way as well. So yeah, I like all of those things.
Awesome, great stuff. Any philosophy from you, John, or you want to go into your question?
I have one thing to say. I love all that Jeff said. Spot on. There's one, because I've been asked this question quite a bit with my clients. There is a point at which, and I had to do a lot of research to find whether this was true or not, but because I wasn't taught this in school, just so you know. If you do too much cardio, right, there's a point at which your body adapts so well that it will actually start storing more fat, because cardio is a fat oxidative system. In order to create energy, it burns fat. So if I'm doing excessive cardio, I mean, when you say too much, I'm thinking 2 hours a day of just cardio, 3 hours, 4 hours. When people are training for marathons, triathlons, things like that, you look at some of the elite athletes that have been doing that for decades, they have a muffin top, right? They may be used to be leaner, but it gets to the point where they actually start putting on more fat as an adaptation that their body goes through, because it'll signal to the body, say, hey, if you're going to keep going out and doing this cardio all the time, but you're not going to feed me enough carbohydrates or nutrients or even fats, I'm going to start storing fat so then I have energy while I'm out there doing cardio. So it can become a problem that if your goal was to have a better physique, then yes, there could be too much cardio. But if your goal was to perform better as a marathoner, then you better keep training, right? So like again, it goes down to your goals, right?
Gotcha.
What you want your goals to be. But I agree with Jeff that like, if you want to get cardio in a shorter amount of time, don't just go out running all the time, right? Do some of the circuits, do some stuff where you're getting some HIIT style training along with your weight training stuff.
Awesome. Great stuff. Great philosophy also. John, this is right up your alley. And, you know, Jeff is no stranger to doTERRA Deep Blue Rub, but question for you, John.
Okay.
So what should men do aside from using doTERRA Deep Blue Rub for soreness?
Okay.
Some great things as far as recovery that men can do, and women, but that men can do.
Yeah. These are my top things. Okay. And I think necessary. I mean, I have lots of clients that end up doing this. Top things. Okay. 20 to 30 grams of EAAs per day, essential amino acids, broken down into their essential amino acid form, because not enough people get enough protein for recovery, or there's too much protein to digest. One of the best ways to enhance recovery, increase your anabolic, to make you actually build more muscle, spare muscle, 20 to 30 grams of EAAs. That's not BCAs, that's essential amino acids. You'll get your BCAs in there, okay? Divide that into 2 to 3 doses a day, okay? Or during the day. So 20, 30 grams of that. Turmeric, another one. It's the most researched natural anti-inflammatory in the world, other than drugs. But turmeric is all natural. doTERRA has one as well. The dual caps, that's my favorite one. If you don't have access to that, find somebody that can get it, because the dual caps are awesome. Take 2 of those twice a day. Amazing for recovery. Okay. Fish oil, 2 tablespoons split into 2 times a day. Full tablespoons. I'm telling you, fish oil is remarkable at decreasing inflammation and helping that inflammatory system modulate inflammation better. So then that way you actually can recover from your workouts more efficiently. Okay. We're not just talking about blocking inflammation. We're talking about managing the inflammation so that you can still recover. And then drinking, obviously, plenty of water and getting good rest. Okay. 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Those are the top things for recovery. If you want to add in, you know, an ice bath every once in a while, if you want to add in, you know, some infrared sauna stuff, things that might cost a little bit more for people, those help as well. But those are my essentials. And that I do that every day, all
Awesome.
those things.
Awesome. Great stuff. Jeff, you any add-ons from your philosophy on recovery?
I think all that stuff is great. I think it's important. I'd say the thing that is most important is sleep and nutrition. And I think that trumps everything. So I just had this conversation with some athletes this week. After we worked out, I laid them down and had them do some deep belly breathing for 5 minutes to try to calm them down and get into that recovery flow. And then I just preached to them about sleeping and fueling their body post-workout. And I think that is going to be the king. That trumps everything, I think.
Awesome. So I just want to check in. We're approaching the 9 o'clock mark. This is so powerful and so much brilliant information from these 2 men. I hope you guys don't mind if we go a little bit over the mark and continue this and finish out these questions. John, are you good? Jeff, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome, because this is so powerful and so many men need to hear this. So Jeff, this is for you. Okay. Should men have a workout plan when they head to the gym, or should they just kind of look for any open machine that's available and just hit it?
Yeah, no, you definitely should have a plan. You have to have a plan. And I don't think you should go into the gym. If you don't have a plan, you shouldn't go into the gym. So you definitely should know what you're doing, what machines you need, what muscle groups you're hitting, how many exercises you're doing. You should even have a counter plan. You know, it kind of drives me crazy when I see guys in the gym just waiting for machines. You know, I never wait for any machine. I just go on, I find something else to do, and I come back around to it. And yeah, so you definitely need a plan going into the gym.
Awesome, awesome. John, any philosophy on your side, or move on to your question?
I just want to add to that. Yes, plan, right?
Okay.
Your intention is 100% important when in terms of once you enter that gym, what your intention is. Okay, if you're just going in there just to like goof off, talk to your buddies, drink a protein shake, stand in front of a mirror, maybe flex at a chick, that you're not going to get the results that you want. So plan and be very intentful with that.
Awesome, awesome. Good stuff, good stuff. So John, should stretching be a part of your workout when exercising? And could not stretching play a bad role on the body as you get older in age?
Yes and yes. Stretching. So there was a lot of research kind of going around several years ago where they said that if you stretched before a 1 rep max, it would decrease your 1 rep max. That's false, because the studies showed that if you stretched right before, meaning like I just got done stretching and I stretched for a few minutes, one muscle group, let's say bench, right? I'm going to do bench press max, and I stretched my pecs out for like three or 4 minutes. You would start releasing fatigue chemicals in that muscle group because I stretched it for so long. So then it would show in the studies, it showed people have a less, their 1 rep max was less than the people that didn't stretch like that. Okay, the problem with that is that it was too long. The stretching was too long. So again, you have to be very intentional about the stretching, okay? You need to warm up those muscle groups before you lift, especially one rep max, but not overstretch. Okay, so stretching is essential in every type of way. But what we do in my gym, I call them mobility drills, the warm up. It's not just static stretching, okay? We're actually moving the body while we stretch. So instead of just standing and touching the toes, you would be actually moving and touching the toes and then doing it again and doing it again, right? So you're heating up the muscles as well as stretching. Think of it like taffy. Your muscles, tendons are like taffy. When they're cold, taffy doesn't stretch. When it's warm, it stretches, right? You ever seen one of those taffy machines, right? It's warm in there. So that'll help decrease risk of injury when you work out. So that's totally essential. And then in terms of long term, if you don't stretch at all and you're working out on a regular basis, it will not be long before you become locked up. You'll start getting this rounded shoulder posture. You'll have a dysfunctional body and you'll be in pain. And most of the people know who they are. And you can point them out and say, hey, have you been stretching? No, they're not stretching. They're not doing mobility drills, right? So it's necessary.
Awesome, awesome. Jeff, any philosophy on stretching, or you want to move on to your question?
No, I mean, before we train, I do what's called a dynamic warm up. So I don't actually stretch. I'll just I'll do something to raise my body temperature, and then I'll do different exercises. I'll lunge, I'll push up, I'll slide, and I'll just get the body through a dynamic movement. So it's like stretching, but it's almost like dynamic stretching. But we're moving. We try to avoid static stretching before the lift. But post workout, I will static stretch, guys.
Awesome, awesome. So I have 3 more questions left. I'm going to ask these last 3 questions to both of you gentlemen. Like I said, if we have a little bit of time left, we'll get some questions if anybody has any from the Zoom group. So this is going to be for both of you guys. Let's start off with you, Jeff, on these last 3 questions. Talk to us about exercising in correlation to mental health.
Oh, yeah. I mean, John kind of touched on this earlier, but I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I hit the gym. I didn't feel like going, and I went there, and then that post workout, I just felt really good. And I realized that I've been working out. It's more of a therapy for me than anything. You know, it's like I think it does something for me. And as a kid, I used to get in trouble a lot, but I just think I needed to move my body. I think I just wasn't made to sit down for 8 hours. And even now, you know, I don't do well sitting down for a long period of time. I need to get up. I need to get moved. I need to move my body. So I think it's essential. I think, you know, I meet a lot of people who are sometimes angry or stressed. and or they have trouble sleeping. And I always recommend, I say, hey, you should probably move your body. You probably need to exercise. You probably need to let out some hormones and get your heart rate up. And I think your life will change. So I think I think it could do a lot. And I think John touched on that earlier.
Awesome. Awesome. Great stuff. John, why don't you touch on that?
Yeah. So like I had mentioned before, that's pretty much what saved me from having to suffer from all of those mental issues that I was having. A little science: when you work out, you release brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is essential for cognitive function. Okay, you release a lot of that, which actually helps improve memory. It helps you think clearer, more focused, more concentration. So I always thought about, it'd be kind of cool to have like somebody do math questions, things like that, after a workout, because you would actually be more focused. You could actually do better. So have like a smart gym, right? You work out and then they do something to enhance their other skills. But other things that you release serotonin, dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and all those play into how you feel, right? Your mood. And just like Jeff said, I mean, I have clients as well that come in and they might not feel like, they're like, hey, I barely made it to the gym today, right? But then after they work out, they feel so good. They feel so much better about themselves, and just they can carry that with them the rest of the day, right? So essential for mental health.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's stick it with you, John, on this one. We live in the United States. It's just an overweight, obese country.
Yeah, 30%.
So, for any man who's overweight or obese, how would you train them to get to their desired goals?
Okay. So first I would talk to them about their expectations that they have. I would help them understand that it didn't happen overnight that they gained this weight, right? There has to be a level of accountability that they need to recognize, ownership, that it probably took a couple decades to get to that obese nature. And I've had this exact conversation with several clients. And once they own up to that, we start them one thing at a time. What is one thing that you can do better, right? Even if it's just water and going for a walk, right? Get in half your body weight in ounces of water, go for a walk around the block, and that's it. If that's it, then that's it, right? And then in a couple of weeks, we introduce another new thing. I want you to eat one extra serving of vegetables per day. If they're not eating any, then okay, then they're eating one serving of vegetables per day. And then we progress into another habit that's easy to adopt. I should say simple, a simple habit. But what's easy to do is also easy not to do, right? So it's just anyone who comes in that's obese, you have to start them off in simple things and then let them know that expectation that it's going to be a while. You're not going to reach your desired results in 3 months. It's just not going to happen. And if it does happen that fast, if somebody loses 100 pounds in 3 months, which is insane, it won't be sustainable. It'll be so hard mentally and stressful that they may give it up for the rest of their lives and never want to do it again because of how hard it really could be. So you kind of get that into their head that this is a long-term plan for you. We're going to introduce little tiny things at a time. Just that walk, just that water, whatever it may be. So.
Gotcha. So, the thing about when you're a personal trainer, and of course I was a personal trainer when I first started, before I started running gyms, is that I always tell clients, while you're here in the gym, you're mine. But once you leave that gym, it's going to be up to your own mental faculty to keep on par with everything. So, John, how do you personally keep your clients who are obese or overweight accountable?
So one thing is having an accountability partner, maybe picking somebody that isn't their spouse, okay, a friend, somebody that will hold them accountable to the goals that they have. that's outside of the gym, that's not just me. Because if the coach, I've had this, if the coach is the only accountability partner, right? And like you said, when you're in the gym, you're mine. When they're gone, and even if I say, message me today, it ends up being this thing where it'll develop a negative relationship with you and your client. And I've seen this happen, and it didn't end the best. But if you can have them find a friend, someone that will hold them to their things, someone that's accountable, or that can hold them accountable, that's key to them maintaining the motivation to do so, to eat the healthy way, or to keep coming to the gym. And if it is somebody who comes to the gym with them, even better, because then you guys both are meeting there. You are accountable for each other if one doesn't show up, things like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Great stuff. Same question to you, Jeff. I'll ask it again. Talk to us. I'm sorry. For anyone who's overweight or obese men, how would you train them to get to their desired goals, and how do you keep your clients accountable?
Yeah, I mean, John touched on this as well. A lot of walking. It's going to be basic movements. I may have you hold, hey, we're going to walk from across one part of the gym to the other part of the gym with 2 dumbbells in our hand. And then when we get to the end, you're going to sit down on this box and stand up 10 times. And then we're going to pick this 5-pound weight, push it over your head, and then put it back down. And then we're going to walk back across the gym holding 2 dumbbells. And then, we'll progress it. And now we're going to pick this kettlebell off the floor, and then we're going to squat down and tap this kettlebell on the floor. And that's all we're going to do. We're just going to slowly increase movement, and it's going to be very basic. We'll probably use the machines a bit. So it's going to be a combination of walking and just doing normal functional movement. Oh, and in regards to accountability, I give clients tools, but honestly, I'm not a guy who's going to be texting you and asking you what you're eating. I'm not going to babysit you. You got to want to do it yourself. I hold myself accountable for everything. I expect people to hold themselves accountable. And, I can't do anything for you. You're going to have to want to do it yourself. And I always say, everything is my fault in my life. So if I showed up late to the Zoom call, and let's say Kai gave me the wrong time to the Zoom call, and he said, hey, Jeff, we start at 8:30. And I got there at 9, it's still my fault, because I should have texted Kai at 5 to check in, like, hey, just to confirm we're on at 9, right? So it's always my fault. I'm always holding myself accountable. And I think everyone should have that same level of accountability.
Awesome. Beautiful stuff. So last question, Jeff, start us off, and then we're going to end with John. So this segment of REYL was called Fit for Life. And what a fitting last question. So many individuals are just not motivated to work out, but they want to. If there's a lack of motivation and they can't afford a Jeff or a John to personal train them, what's the next best way to get their butts in gear to make fitness a lifestyle for them?
Who you want to go first?
Going with you, brother.
All right.
With John.
There's strategies. So I'll give a couple. I think one is accountability. So public accountability is always good. I think with social media, that's one thing that we could use social media for. If you put a post out there and tell folks that you're going on a weight loss journey, and you're going to put it out there every time you're in the gym, I think that that pressure, that social accountability could motivate somebody. Having a gym partner, somebody who's going to hold you accountable, not somebody who's also going to, say, hey, it's all right to miss this workout. I think that's good. But I think ultimately the people that I've seen make the biggest changes physically, myself included, it came from a place of pain. You know what I mean? It's like somebody cheated, their boyfriend broke up with them and cheated on somebody, or somebody's just sick and tired of being lonely, or whatever. It came from a place of pain. So I would say just find that pain and use that to light your fire. So that's what I would say. And do, honor the things that come out your mouth. If you say you're going to do something, do it.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Let's end with you, brother. John.
Yeah, I agree. Accountability, 100%. And the social accountability, having that pressure is definitely works. So just having people in your corner, okay, whether it's your family, your friends, just telling them what your goals are, what you want to accomplish, and seeing who has your back. And if they do, if you got the right support system and you can't afford to go to the gym or afford a personal trainer, then having those people in your corner is going to be key to being successful in your journey. With that said, you can start, I mean, there's plenty of people on social media that you can start following. You can follow me, you can follow Jeff, and get some tips that we send out, right? You can watch some of the videos, you can get some things like that. You could reach out. I'm always willing to help people out, right? So, and there's tons of people in your local community. I know there are people that if you don't have the funds to pay them one-on-one, there's still some people that will give you some support, right? At least give you some direction and guidance. You just have to be willing to reach out to them, own it and reach out and say, hey, I need some help. Who can help me? So
awesome. Love it. You guys are amazing. So we're going to have a ton of brothers and a ton of brothers who are going to listen to this recording, but we have some men who blessed us on this Zoom right now with their faces and their presence. Men who are on the call now, you have John and you have Jeff. If you have any questions that I didn't get to or cover, and you would like to ask one of these gentlemen, please unmute yourself and ask them that question now. You're not forced to, but if this is the time if you want to. We might be good. I think we're good. So I think we're good. I personally want to say before we wrap up, Mr. John Bush is going to end this call, but I just want to say, Brother Jeff, you are amazing. Like I said, your family, brother.
Thank you.
Everything that comes out your mouth is powerful. And, I'm proud to call you a brother. I'm proud to call you family. You're doing so many amazing things in the fitness world. You're helping so many people. And I'm blessed to know you, brother. Big John Chase, the things that you're doing in fitness is this, your drive and motivation, the videos that you put out to inspire so many men and women of what you're trying to accomplish to get this world in shape is just unbelievable. So I'm blessed to have you as a brother also, John. Thank you for all that you do. Right now, I'm going to end it with John Bush, who's going to end this Zoom call. He's going to tell you guys a few things. And thank you, gentlemen, for everyone who was on this call. Big John, it's on you.
Cool. Thank you, Kai. Thanks for moderating. Jeff and John, thank you both. Man, I got a page of notes. And I feel like I want to go jump into a workout like immediately. So,
hey, dude, I'm right down the street, man.
Amazing. I knew you were going to say that, brother. The wives are out tonight, so I'm in. Todd's in.
Let's do it.
Jeff, you ever roll through Utah, man, you're welcome. We got a great place and a space to work out for you. I'm going to have Kai get me over your address, and I'd love to send you out a real shirt, man, because you're in the family. You're in the brotherhood and the community.
Oh, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate you
being
here.
XL.
XL, he's an XL. I thought he was a couple less.
XL, yeah, we saw the arms. It's going to be an XL. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing. This recording we'll have up on the Real Men YouTube channel, and we'll get it posted into the Facebook group. On the YouTube channel, that's going to be a perfect link to be able to push that out. If there are people that that need to hear this message, and I know there are dozens and dozens of men that needed to hear this message that are at all different places in their own personal wellness, fitness journey in their own lives. We all get busy. It's easy to fall on excuses. I've got 9 of them. They all call me dad. It is easy to get complacent in different things. Guys, thank you for showing up. This is the most important thing that you could have done for yourself today, is to invest in yourself. So I appreciate every single one of you, especially the gentleman that spoke and Kai for moderating. Until next month, we'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. Keep it real. Be well. Thank you.
John, Kai, Jeff, Matt.